So why don't we switch gears and get in and talk about the art of the stop?
Yeah, and
You
I
know,
think it'd be fun if you have some examples. I would like to get some examples from students that are in trades right now, and just say tell them what ideas where we think we would put the stop. Like what's funny is watch the beginners guys, and don't get offended by this, but a lot of you beginners like, where should my stop be? We're gonna say, well, about 3 weeks ago. you know, but Netflix, okay, let's check. By the way, guys, the more volatile the stock is, the wider you have to put your stop. And the wider your stop is, the more the risk and the least amount of shares. So it's tough.
well,
Those
and
stocks are tough.
for me, Gino, depending on what my strategy is, what I'm trying to do, I've actually leaned more and more towards looser stop losses over the years. And one of the reasons I do that is just because I know that the market knows how people trade, and they know, that if they trigger a setup and it reverses on them, they'll clear out a bunch of stops.
And you know who does that the
And,
most? It's not the market makers, actually. They will do it a little bit. They don't like to create sell offs and stuff, from what I've been told and talked from them. What's doing it is these high frequency trading computers. They love the
right.
volume kickoff because they can keep up with it and stay ahead of it. So they're the ones triggering all these stop losses, especially after a news event.
Well, and as the higher frequency, automatic trading robots have become more and more common, I think well over 50% of the volume on any given day is automated trading, high frequency trading. And it's changed the personality of the market. When I first started trading, you could really use tight stop losses effectively. And this is why I always say we want baby bear stop losses, not too tight, not too loose, just right. Can you buy trading robots? Well, you can find ways to get money into auto traders, but I'm not a fan, because most, the best ones, the golden, the goose that lays the golden egg is not for sale usually.
No, they're usually
So a lot of
tied
those.
into the big money. The big money, because what happens is they need a lot of money for cost averaging and doubling down.
Mhm.
So a lot of them are like, you got to have big money and contribute to their fund. And the guy who runs that is usually getting a commission. So it's the big brokers that are doing it. So that you kind of pool your money with theirs. If you have, $20,000, you're not going to get a good trading robot. There's some good Forex ones. Jeff Crystal, a friend of ours, he's created his own. He's a programmer. He's created quite a few impressive ones. But me personally, Noah, I just never got comfortable with them.
Well, and for me, it's because you're putting your money into a black box, and you don't know how their algorithm runs, and if they're really susceptible to big deviations in the market. I've seen time and time again where auto traders have blown up because they try to cost average on the wrong side of the
Right.
market.
Right. So what do you
And
think
so,
about
yeah,
this thing? I mean, this is a big mover.
well, this is a pretty big mover, and you can see I actually happen to have a stop loss in place on it
Oh, okay. There's my answer.
from, yeah, so I actually happen to have one on there. That's been tightened up. It started out a little bit looser, and then as the price gave me a little confirmation up, I've tightened it up a little bit, and just giving it room to see if it can clear that exact same zone we were just talking about, where it's got that kiss goodbye, the moving averages, it's down below those shorter term moving averages that can act as resistance now. And if it can power through those and clear to the upside, then I'll start trailing the stop up. But I'm trying to give it room to breathe because I'm just a firm believer that the tighter you put your stop, the higher the probability of it getting hit.
Yeah.
And depending on the strategy, if I was day trading and doing higher frequency trading myself, I'd use tighter stops. But if I'm, swing and position trading, I've gotten in the habit of using looser stop losses and smaller position sizes to give it room to breathe and to not be, too close. So I usually use about 1.5 ATRs as far as the distance to the stop loss, up to 2 ATRs for volatility stop for some of my longer term for position trades and things that I want to stay in longer term. And that's, I use ATR as a measuring stick is one of the important things you'll learn as a stop loss. Now I've got that ATR number up here on the top left of my chart, Gino. You can see
Yep.
that up there.
Unexpected.
Um,
Yep.
Yep. And that gives me, the expected move there. And so those two numbers give me a ballpark that I've always used as a measuring stick. And I'd always tell people, hey, if I have a hungry alligator on a 395-foot chain, how close to me do you want to stand?
Right.
400 feet plus, you want to improve your odds, you got to be further away than a typical move.
Right. And
So to get that, that now, if you want to get that ATR up in the top left corner in that expected move, you need to go to the tackle trading website and search ATR top corner, just in the search window, and you'll find a little video. And the ATR automatically adjusts on time frame, Suki. So if I change to a weekly chart, it's automatically a weekly ATR. If I change to an intraday chart, it's automatically an intraday ATR. Do I change the number of the ATR, like the number of measures? No. I want the same information as everybody else, and most ATR's default setting are 14 days for whatever reason. That dates back to like the 70s and 80s when the indicator was popularized by Wells Wilder.
Right. Now, Noah, so first decision is this. The hardest decision is, do you put in a stop loss? That's the first question we skipped over. And why?
So just today, I watched a little video from an expert, so-called expert that somebody interviewed, as a little YouTube video that argued not to use a stop loss. And I'm not going to go that far to say don't use stop losses. I'm going to say tight stop losses have a high probability of guaranteeing a loss.
Right, right. But you know what I noticed?
So
there's ways that you don't have to use a stop loss as long as you position size to your risk. So like this is a $90 stock. So let's say my risk is $200. I don't want to lose $200 on a stock, on a trade. I could buy one share and let it ride and never worry about it, because if this thing goes bankrupt, I can only lose 195, right? So that's logical, but the problem is people will say, but I've got 10,000 in my account. I'm not just going to put one share in there. It's when you start going over your risk, when you start position sizing and buying more shares than you want to lose. Because believe me, guys, I've seen companies like Netflix go down to $1 or even bankrupt in a matter of months and weeks. And there was like, did that really happen? I mean, I lived through the .com era. 98% of the companies went belly up.